Today I'm going to talk to you about severe weather. The computer's not showing very good, so I'll bring it up to show the visuals as they appear. 5,760 is the number of how many deaths have occurred from severe weather from the years 2009 to 2019. Today I want to inform you about severe weather. I will take you through a few different types of severe weather, how to prepare for it, and some different hotspots throughout the U.S. Over the past few years, following extreme meteorologists and doing research on storms, I've been able to correctly predict what some major storm systems would end up doing. Two of the most recent being Hurricanes Isaias and Laura. Everybody knows that severe weather has been around forever, but when it advances, we must advance our knowledge with it so we can be better prepared. First, let's acknowledge the different types of severe weather. We've got hurricanes, which are defined as tropical cyclones with winds of 74 miles per hour or greater. Hurricanes are accompanied by rain, thunder, and lightning, and that sometimes moves into more temperate latitudes. This first visual I'm going to show you is a satellite image from space of a hurricane. And this next one is a radar image of a hurricane. There are many dangers that come with this storm, such as extreme flash flooding, downed trees and power lines, and widespread power outages. About 396 deaths were recorded from hurricanes over the past 10 years. That does not include this year, 2020. Next up, we've got tornadoes. A tornado is a violent, destructive, whirling wind accompanied by a funnel-shaped cloud that progresses in a narrow path over the wind. The typical lifespan of a tornado doesn't last more than 10 minutes, even though it may seem like a lot more than that. Bigger tornadoes usually last a lot longer than smaller and skinnier ones due to the amount that it must decrease before it dissipates. Like the hurricane, a tornado can bring down trees and power lines and cause power outages throughout this area the tornado hit. And this first visual here is a picture of a tornado. And the next picture is what it looks on radar. These are two indicators you can usually tell if you look. The first one being the green being right up with the red, and then others when they look like this. Lastly, we've got the derecho. A derecho is a large and fast-moving complex of thunderstorms with powerful straight-line winds that cause a widespread destruction. Damages that can be done by derechos are downed power lines and trees, roofing loss, broken windows, and many more things. Not many people know about derechos because they aren't covered as heavily as other major storms, such as the hurricane and tornado. It's very important to know about all these storms because they can all be equally as bad as another. And this first visual, this is about a 12-hour time lapse of a derecho moving through on August 10th this year, moving through Iowa. And this next visual just shows about where it happened, and as you can see up here, the winds being around 100 to 120 miles per hour, and 140 miles per hour equals a EF3 tornado. And these are straight line winds that come through. So it gets pretty bad. Now that we've looked at different types of severe weather, let's look at how you can prepare for them. So going back to the hurricane, there are only two options you have in order to be prepared. You can either have an evacuation plan for the worst case scenario and buy supplies, or you can get the heck out before it hits. Some essential things you would need to survive a hurricane are food, water, blankets, clothes, a flashlight, a radio or phone to communicate, and even a few flares to get the attention of rescuers passing through the area. It's also essential that you go to the highest point possible to avoid being wet, which can cause hypothermia, and do not go back for anything. Do not try to swim to what you may think is safety because the current of the flash flood can be so strong that it pulls you under, and you may not be able to get back to the surface for air. Your second option, the clear and obvious answer for what to do, is get out. No possession or material thing is worth you losing your life over. Pack the most valuable things in your vehicle, along with plenty of food, water, and blankets to hold you over, as you may not be able to find vacancy at hotels not too far out of the storm's path. Now to the tornado. You can prepare for a tornado usually about a day in advance if there's a severe thunderstorm headed your way within the next 12 to 24 hours. Prepare yourself. You will want to go to the lowest level of the innermost room in the house to stay safe from the tornado. If you have a storm cellar, that's perfect too. You'll want to have food, water, a way to communicate to the outside, tennis shoes, and a bicycle helmet or some other type of protective headwear. And a pillow. Shoes are essential for when you go out of your home. You don't want to step on any debris, start bleeding, or get an infection. A helmet is essential to protect your head from flying debris so nothing hits you and kills you. The pillow is recommended to hold on top of your head for extra protection. The others like food, water, and communication are common sense. Now, preparing for a derecho can be challenging because it's a system of straight-line winds that will come out of nowhere at any given time during a severe thunderstorm. Your best bet in this situation is to prepare like you would for a tornado by going to the lowest or innermost area of your home and bringing everything you would for a tornado. Finally, let's look at the hot spots of these types of weather. First up is the hurricane. The areas with the most tropical disturbances are the Gulf of Mexico, the southeast, such as Florida and Puerto Rico, and the entire East Coast. Since 1851, it's been extremely rare that a hurricane has ever made landfall in the West Coast area. This has to do with the ocean temperatures being lower, 75 degrees, than the average 80 degrees to produce a hurricane. Yes, there has been many tropical systems that have made impact on the West Coast, but none of them were ever recorded to have made landfall. Next is a tornado. Tornado Alley is the infamous name for the area that has the most tornadic activity every single year. These states include Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Iowa. Tornadoes can spawn anywhere where the atmosphere is right. This can be during a severe thunderstorm or when a cold front meets a warm front, which can cause rotation. And finally, the derecho. Half of the United States is technically a hotspot for the derecho to occur. These areas include the southeast, not including Florida, and the Midwest and the Northeast. Once again, derechos are straight-line winds that come from a severe thunderstorm. They can move across areas so well because it's not an ocean in the way or in the middle of a desert. Nobody would really be affected anyways. It's important that you respect Mother Nature and the power she brings with different storms. Today we learned about severe weather in the United States. We looked at different types of severe weather, how to prepare for them, and the hot spots for these disasters. For future potential occasions, I would recommend that you get together with your family and plan accordingly for these events. You never know where you may be if there's a severe weather emergency like the ones we looked at today. This information can save yours and your loved ones' lives. And no, I didn't cover 100% of each of these storms because that'd be impossible to fit in a time limit. With that being said, it's important that you do your own research and dive deeper into finding out about what you can do to be aware and be prepared. The weather seems to be getting worse with every new event. It wouldn't hurt to start preparations for severe weather now. Please don't be another statistic. Be smart, be responsible, and do not take severe weather lightly. Thank you.